Biography of Winston Churchill. Chapter 1. Early Life. Winston Churchill was born on November 30th, 1874, in Blenheim Palace, England. His parents were Lord Randolph Churchill and Jenny Jerome. Winston was born into an aristocratic family, but his early life was not easy. His father, a famous politician, was often away, and Winston's relationship with his mother was distant. Churchill's early education was challenging. He struggled in school and did not do well academically, but he was determined to succeed. He attended several schools, but he had trouble fitting in. He was a strong-willed and independent child, which sometimes led to conflicts with his teachers. At the age of 20, Churchill joined the military and served in the British Army. This experience helped shape his character and prepared him for leadership. He soon became interested in politics and started thinking about his future in government, a path that would define his life. Chapter 2. Entry into Politics. Winston Churchill began his political career in 1900 when he was elected as a Member of Parliament MP. He initially joined the Conservative Party, but his political views changed over time. In 1904, Churchill switched to the Liberal Party, believing that it better aligned with his ideals for social reforms and progress. This move was controversial, but showed his strong desire to stand for what he believed was right. During his early years in politics, Churchill held various government positions. He became known for his passionate speeches and bold ideas. He worked on reforms in the military and government, always pushing for change. His energy and ambition earned him a reputation as a determined and dynamic leader. Although Churchill faced challenges in his political career, including periods of failure and criticism, he never gave up. He continued to rise through the ranks, determined to make a difference. His resilience in the face of setbacks proved to be an important part of his character, and it would help him in the future. Chapter 3. Role in World War I. During World War I, Winston Churchill held several important roles in the British government. In 1911, he became the First Lord of the Admiralty, which was a powerful position in the British Navy. He worked hard to modernize the Navy, improving equipment and training. However, his leadership was tested when the disastrous Gallipoli campaign failed in 1915, resulting in many deaths and a significant setback for the Allies. After the failure of Gallipoli, Churchill faced criticism and was temporarily removed from his position. Despite this setback, Churchill did not give up on his career. He took on other roles during the war and continued to serve his country in different ways. His resilience and determination showed that he would never quit, no matter how difficult things became. World War I was a formative time for Churchill. It shaped his views on leadership, war, and politics. The lessons he learned during the war would help him become one of Britain's most important leaders during World War II, where his skills would be put to the ultimate test. Chapter 4. The Interwar Years. After World War I, Winston Churchill went through a difficult period in his political career. In the 1920s and 1930s, he faced challenges in his personal and professional life. He was out of office for several years and had trouble gaining support from the British public. He also faced personal issues, including financial difficulties. During this time, Churchill focused on his writing and spent time on his art. He also became more involved in international issues, particularly those related to the rise of fascism in Europe. As the leader of the Conservative Party, He spoke out against the growing threat of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis in Germany. Churchill's warning about the dangers of fascism was not widely listened to at the time. Many people in Britain believed that peace with Hitler was possible, but Churchill firmly opposed this view. He believed that Hitler's rise to power was a threat to freedom and democracy, and he would later become one of the key leaders in the fight against Nazi Germany. Chapter 5: The Rise to Power. In 1940, as the world descended into World War II, Winston Churchill was appointed Prime Minister of Britain. At this critical moment in history, Churchill's leadership was needed more than ever. He took office during one of the darkest times in Britain's history, with Nazi forces rapidly advancing through Europe. As Prime Minister, Churchill gave powerful speeches that inspired the British people to fight on, even when the situation seemed hopeless. His famous words, "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds," were a rallying cry for the British people to never surrender. His determination and courage made him a symbol of hope for the Allied forces. Churchill's leadership during this time was crucial. He worked closely with other Allied leaders, including US President Franklin D. Roosevelt, to coordinate military strategies. His ability to motivate and inspire the British people, even in the face of adversity, was one of the reasons why Britain was able to survive and ultimately defeat Nazi Germany. Chapter 6: Leadership during World War II. Winston Churchill's leadership during World War II is perhaps what he is best remembered for. He was instrumental in organizing the British war effort, building alliances with the United States and the Soviet Union, and guiding his country through some of the darkest days of the war. His speeches and radio broadcasts helped keep the morale of the British public high, even during times of intense bombing by the Germans. One of Churchill's greatest achievements was his ability to persuade the United States to enter the war after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. He formed a strong partnership with President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and together they led the Allies to victory over the Axis powers. Churchill's vision of a united front against tyranny helped turn the tide of the war. Throughout the war, Churchill made many difficult decisions, including directing military operations, managing resources, and balancing the needs of the British people. His determination to fight until the end made him one of the most respected leaders in the world. By the time the war ended in 1945, Churchill had cemented his place in history as one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century. Chapter 7: Post-War Challenges. After World War II, Churchill faced a new set of challenges. In 1945, shortly after the defeat of Nazi Germany, he lost the general election, and the Labour Party came to power. However, Churchill's political career was far from over. In 1951, he returned to power as Prime Minister once again. During his second term, Churchill focused on rebuilding Britain after the war and maintaining its status as a major world power. He worked to strengthen the British economy and maintain Britain's influence in global politics. However, his health was beginning to decline, and he found it harder to keep up with the demands of leadership. Despite his declining health, Churchill remained active in global politics and continued to offer his insights on international issues. He played a key role in the creation of NATO and worked to maintain peace in Europe during the early years of the Cold War. Churchill's leadership during this period helped Britain recover and rebuild, but he was also preparing for the future, knowing that the world was changing. Chapter 8. Legacy as a Statesman. Winston Churchill's legacy as a statesman is unparalleled. His leadership during World War II, his role in shaping the post-war world, and his unyielding commitment to freedom and democracy have made him one of the most respected leaders in history. His speeches and writings continue to inspire people around the world, and his determination to stand up to tyranny has made him a symbol of resilience and courage. Churchill was also a prolific writer, publishing many books on history, war, and politics. His works are still studied today for their insight into leadership, strategy, and human nature. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953 for his historical writings, recognizing his contributions to literature as well as politics. Churchill's legacy extends beyond just politics. He is remembered as a man of great courage who never gave up even in the face of overwhelming odds. His life story continues to inspire people who believe in the power of leadership, perseverance, and the fight for freedom. Chapter 9. Personal Life and Character. Winston Churchill was known for his strong character and determination. He was a man of great ambition, and he never gave up on his goals, even when others doubted him. His love for history, writing, and painting was evident throughout his life. Churchill's personal life was not without struggles, but his resilience and ability to bounce back made him a truly remarkable figure. Churchill's family was important to him, and he had a close relationship with his wife, Clementine. Together, they had 5 children. Despite his busy career, Churchill made time for his family and often sought their advice and support. His personal relationships helped him stay grounded and focused during the times of crisis. Despite his reputation as a tough and sometimes difficult man, Winston Churchill was known for his sense of humor and his ability to connect with people. He was a master of conversation and could charm anyone he met. His personality, along with his leadership skills, made him one of the most beloved figures in British history. Chapter 10. The End of a Great Life. Winston Churchill passed away on January 24th, 1965, at the age of 90. His death marked the end of an era for Britain and the world. Churchill was given a state funeral, attended by leaders from around the globe, honouring his life and legacy. Even after his death, Churchill's influence remained. His leadership during World War II had shaped the course of history, and his work in the post-war world continued to impact international relations for decades. Churchill remains one of the greatest figures in world history, remembered for his courage, wisdom, and unwavering commitment to freedom. Winston Churchill's life is a testament to the power of resilience and leadership. His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come as a leader who stood firm in the face of adversity and fought for a better future.